My name's Toby Bekkers and I'm the vineyard management half of Bekkers Wine here in McLaren Vale.
I am Emmanuelle Bekkers. I come from France and I am the winemaking half of Bekkers Wine. We started Bekkers Wine with a very clear picture in mind to showcase that McLaren Vale is an amazing region that can produce outstanding red wines. So for us, McLaren Vale gives us the beautiful generosity of fruit, and then our particularity at Bekkers is the fine texture, that beautiful silky element that will carry those flavors through.
Bekkers Wine it's a partnership between the two of us. My history very much the vineyard, Emmanuelle obviously the winemaking, but we met in a McLaren Vale winery during vintage 1995, so long careers, always based here, but every year the opportunity to hop over the equator and do a second harvest back in France.
McLaren Vale is an amazing region because of its situation. It is a warm climate region, but it has a very important diversity and maritime influence, and that allows me to express that generosity of fruit that you can only find here, but also the fruit retains freshness and gives me the opportunity to create wine with texture and silky, velvety, filling density that carry those flavors through.
I think McLaren Vale's history is a really important part of what we do here. In an Australian context, it's got quite a long wine history and we're the beneficiaries of all of that trial and error. For us, we really stick to the hero varieties of McLaren Vale, so particularly Shiraz and Grenache. They've been here from day one, from the 1830s, but then we're able to put a bit of a modern spin on them. So we want the generosity that's traditionally part of McLaren Vale, but Emma's actually able to just dial it back a little bit, add some polish and fragrance and aromatics, so that these are wines that you really feel comfortable having a second glass of.
McLaren Vale is an amazing region and the people here should be very proud of it. It's a region that, very similar to some other fantastic wine growing region in the world, has diversity of terroir, lots of different aspects, but also very close to the coast, so that maritime influence that gives the wine freshness. And then the people of McLaren Vale, the heritage that you have is amazing, and that's what makes McLaren Vale such an amazing region.
The diversity of McLaren Vale as a landscape I think is really important for the good winemakers here. I see the region as a bit of an artist's palette, really. It's incredibly diverse geologically, then soil is laid over that, distance from the coast, slope, aspect, elevation, rainfall patterns. All of these things add up to, if you know the region well, you can go to certain parts of the region to get particular flavours and aromas and textures to build something that you might have a bit of a target in your head of what you want to create.
McLaren Vale and Shiraz, a long history. For me, it's amazing. I love the wine from the Rhone Valley, the Southern Rhone, the Northern Rhone in France. I guess that's where I grew up and I worked there as well. But McLaren Vale started with Shiraz, as you call it here, so very generous, wine full of sun, and through the evolution of the customer wanting some wine that are a bit more refined, everyone has moved to showcase still the generosity of Syrah, but added the elegance, the finesse, and that length that allow the wine to mature in time. So I think for me, McLaren Vale, Shiraz or Syrah have the opportunity to offer you all the beautiful fruit, but more so that beautiful intensity that will last for a long time. What do you think, Toby?
So Shiraz as a variety, it's really quite versatile, and it will express itself really quite differently depending on where you've planted it. So for us here, we like to take little parcels of fruit from our vineyards spread across different parts of the valley. And one really good example would be the closer we are to the coast, probably the richer and darker and more structured the wines look. And the further we go right up into Clarendon, where our other vineyard is, it's higher, it's cooler, and those wines are much lighter on their feet but have amazing perfume and aromatics. You can choose to keep those things separate, or you can use it as a real tool in terms of blending. For those who haven't tasted McLaren Vale wine, I think what makes them worth seeking out is generosity of flavour. You can see even today we're in a really benign, beautiful, sun-drenched climate. We tend to find McLaren Vale Shiraz has incredible generosity of flavour, and then with some really sensitive treatment in the winery, we can find this lovely balance between texture, flavour and aromatic profile and drinkability.
If people have never tasted McLaren Vale wine, they should do so, because there is an amazing choice. The diversity of the different wine that are available here is fantastic. From Shiraz to Grenache, but also to new variety that people are trying out. McLaren Vale can produce plenty different style. My favorite grape variety to work with, can I have two? I think I love working with Grenache. Grenache for me is a variety that is very difficult from the growing part all the way to the finished product. It's the variety that I call the teenage variety in the winery. Goes left when you want it to go right and vice versa. So it keeps you on your toe. It reflects each vintage very acutely. So it works with the weather very well. And I find that very exciting as a winemaker. But if I love working with Grenache, I think Syrah produces amazing wine here with generosity, but finesse, elegance, ethereal flavour, lots of little violet, a hint of pepper. It's such a complex wine that you can have here in McLaren Vale. Probably a little bit easier to work with, but if you want to push it to that high level wine, you need again to be looking after it from start to finish. Wine and food, you know, isn't it why we're all in that industry? For me, a great Grenache with either a whole baked snapper on a bed of fennel, or if you want to be a lot more simple, just fresh pasta, puttanesca or bolognese. It's an amazing pairing. McLaren Vale is a special place because of its people. It's a region where everyone gets together. For the good, the bad, the fantastic, the funny. All the winemakers ring one another. We don't hesitate to pick up the phone and say, hey, 2026, did you find the Malo going fast? Or anything. We all rally, you know, for one another. And then it is a region, for me, as a European person, it's a region where people share their wine with other winemakers. We collaborate, we talk to each other, we share, we invite everyone to come to this region. We always refer to other wineries. This is McLaren Vale.
We'll quite often hear the commentary about how well everyone in this region works together. And I think for us, at the end of the day, wine is about generosity. It's about sharing. And when you see the people who make that product actually embody it in their own day-to-day life, then I think you know you've got something really authentic and real.